Hey party people, how's it going? It's your man DJ Fernando G inviting you to hit the subscribe button and make sure to click the bell as well so that you don't miss one episode of DJ to DJ. That's where I talk to amazingly talented DJs from across the nation and they tell us how they got started in the business. Plus, coming soon I'll be doing some tutorials as well as talking about my experience on radio and how you can become an on-air DJ mixer. So make sure that you hit the subscribe button, click the bell, and I'll see you on the flip side. Today on DJ to DJ, we welcome our first female DJ to the show, Michelle Miller, also known as DJ Rundat. DJ Rundat, talking about how a t-shirt business turned into a DJ career that has led to a best-selling book. Let's welcome DJ Rundat. Hey party people, how's it going? I'm your man DJ Fernando G with episode 4 of DJ to DJ, and it is my honor to introduce our first female DJ to the show. Let's welcome Michelle Miller, A.K.A. DJ Rundat. What up, girl? How are you?
Hey, I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing great. I mean, I'm really excited to have you on. I mean, I've been watching you. Actually, I learned about you during the virtual mobile beat this year, since we didn't get a chance to go out to Vegas. And then I started following you on Instagram and all the socials and everything and watching everything that you were doing. And I was like, okay, I definitely want to have her on my show. So welcome.
Thanks.
So let's get straight into it. Let's talk about the beginnings and how you got into DJing. Now, I understand that you had a t-shirt company. You were doing t-shirts, but there's an interesting little twist as to how you started your DJ business, something dealing with your kids. So why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, well, I've always dreamed to DJ, and it just wasn't the right time until it was the right time. So when I got pregnant with my daughter, I started my clothing line, and my first t-shirt print was "I love reggae," because I love reggae that much. And before becoming a mom, I was reggae clubbing in the Bay Area 8 nights a week. Nice. And I was addicted, and I wanted to DJ then, but it just never happened. And a friend had said, hey, start with clothing and then move into music. And that stuck for some reason. And so that's what I did. I created my clothing line and started selling at concerts and festivals. And it was my way of staying in the music scene without having the mom guilt, because I created a job where I could be at the concerts and at the shows and festivals and not feel super guilty.
And that's cool. That's awesome. And you started doing kid parties? Is that how did that all evolve?
Yeah, well, I met my husband, and he had been DJing for over 20 years around that time. Oh, wow. And so there was my teacher. And before we even, got together, I had asked him for a lesson. And then, we were DJing all the time. And my daughter was like, I want to go. And I'm like, you can't come. You have to be 21. Some events she could, but some she couldn't, Right. So then I said, well, let's throw parties for you in your school. We need to raise money for the music department. And we started these family dance parties, community dance parties, and everyone just loved it. And then my business just grew and grew and grew. I just started getting more gigs from private kid parties to adult parties to weddings to community events, and it just kept going and going.
That's cool. That is awesome. So, I mean, it's really cool that when you're able to include your kids in on the action. I'm just now teaching my eldest to beat mix, and he's starting to get into it. And I told him, we're going to launch you real soon. We're going to go live. And he's like, really? When? So he's all jazzed up about it. And we're having a lot of fun with that. So this was a question that I have for later on, but being that you brought it up, being married to a DJ, not many of us DJs are married to other DJs. How does that work out?
Well, we work it out. We take turns. Sometimes we get lucky and we get to collaborate. Nice. But it's been good. There's been challenges where, he wants to give me tips when I'm DJing out live. And I'm like, I know, I was impatient and I bombed that mix. I know, when you mess up. And yeah. I know it's constructive criticism and I appreciate it. But that was a challenge. That was probably one of the bigger challenges. And then just having childcare,
right. Yeah.
But we've gotten to do some really fun ones together. We usually do like Valentine's Day together or New Year's Eve. We try to
Nice.
collaborate on those special holidays that are, really fun to DJ, like Halloween. Halloween was always a little bit of a challenge. Like I'll DJ for the community costume contest and festival. And then, we'll DJ that night after taking the kids trick-or-treating, and then, setting up at our shop and handing out candy. Like, 'cause we have a store. And so it's just like, the juggle is real.
Yeah.
But, we're a good team.
That's good. That's good. That's being blessed. Seriously, like my wife and I, we collaborate, but on our business, she handles my photo booth business. So there's always collaboration, but then there's always the no, this and that. But being married, you get through it and you work it out.
Yes, exactly.
That's cool. So you play all sorts of music. However, your forte is reggae. And you mentioned it briefly. How was it that you just started getting into reggae, and what was it that attracted you to the Jamaican lifestyle, man?
Yeah, well, I live in Humboldt County, Northern California. We're the cannabis heartland of America. So I grew up with reggae, cannabis, hippies, and rednecks. So the Jamaicans love to come to Humboldt County, and they, our community, we built this community center, and to raise money for the community center,
Nice.
to build it, they started a reggae festival, Reggae on the River. And I wanted to go, when I was younger. My mom was like, no, you can't go yet. Well, as soon as I started driving, I drove myself to that festival, and I got myself a job volunteering, stuffing envelopes. And, we had that community center that had concerts, that was an all-age venue. So when I was really young, I got to dance on stage with Rita Marley, which is Bob Marley's wife.
Nice.
And experienced that. And I'll be honest, we were lying to our parents. We were like, oh, we're just going to go spend the night at Sherelle's house. But really, we were going up to the shows, and then we would walk home at the end of the night, which we look back, we're like, we're crazy. I mean, we live in a small town, but still a little crazy.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I was listening to your mix the other night on Twitch. You were part of this mixing, and I gotta admit, I mean, the remixes that you were playing, that first track that you played, I don't remember the name of it, but it was really cool. And then you mix in a song that's talking about DJ Rundat. What is up with that? A song made after you? What's going on?
Yeah, that's the fun part. So, in reggae, dancehall, sound clash, sound culture, it's dub plates, they go to war, the sound clash. And I have not gotten too deep into that, but I do have a little collection of dub plates. It's so much fun. I've traded artists' clothing for dubs. I've just straight asked for them. It's a lot of fun. That's a Gappy Ranks dub plate. And fortunate, like my husband's also a producer, and we have a music studio, and I've actually produced some concerts myself. I brought the Jamaican dancehall queen Cecile here, and I brought DeMarco. And so, and he's brought lots of artists too over the years. People want to come to Humboldt County. And so I got lucky, and I got that dub plate just by asking and, networking and making friends.
That's cool.
Yeah.
And that was one of the things that I really liked about you when I saw you on the Mobile Beat virtual seminar that we had. And you talked about that, about how you just decided to ask and say, hey, can I do that? And things started to work out for you. And it's interesting because there's a lot of us. I was one of those people that I was always afraid to ask. My background is in radio. I started at a local radio station here called Power 106. I don't know if you're familiar with it, but it was back in the days, in the late 80s, early 90s, it was the #1 station. And I got in there and I was doing the music research department. And I always wanted to mix, but I never really just said, hey, program director, can I do this? Can I do that? I stuck with the position where I was at. Whereas my buddy, world-renowned record producer, remixer, DJ Richard Vision, he took off. And that's where he got his start, because he went in and asked, and that's why I think it's important that we do that you just take the effort like the way you did, and you exploded. You just did your thing.
It's so powerful. I mean, I preach it all the time. I mean, what's one of my best secrets is just asking, knowing what you want, number one, and asking and being brave, being brave.
That's the important thing. That's the important thing. So I love the fact how you're empowering women to enter the DJ realm, and you've come up with a cool project, Queens on Decks, which I've been checking out, and you guys have some very interesting conversations. I mean, it's interesting because I've had some colleagues here locally that have talked about that have told me that a couple of times, you know, when a potential client reaches out to them, they realize that it's a female DJ and they're kind of like shy away. However, you know, female DJs have been around since the 70s, you know, and back in the disco era. But it seems like in more recent years, even though they've been around forever, a lot of female DJs are just exploding. Maybe it's because of social media and all that stuff. But you are taking it to the next level and empowering these women to do it. Tell us about that, about what your works are with the female DJ realm.
Yeah, so I have a business coach I've had for 5 years, and she just has made a tremendous difference in my life. And I've just been transforming and on this like self discovery growth path of like stepping into my leadership and getting past these fears that I had of being seen and of using my voice. And part of that started with asking to be an MC at Reggae on the River because I knew they wanted more females. And so I just asked, and that was a huge step. I mean, to be on stage and announce artists was scary. And, you know, I wrote a book and that helped me build. And that was also because my business coach was like, you know, you can write a book, you can create a digital course, you can, you know, move your business online and you can mentor. And there was all these possibilities. And I was like, that sounds amazing. I live in this tiny town. My potential my potential for growth is a little limited because there's like 1,000 people here, but there's this whole world, 7 billion people or almost 8 now that I could reach and make an impact with. And I learned the importance of sharing your story. And I really wanted to just help others because, you know, I saw the value I was getting from having a business coach. So I took some of the strategies. I started the Queens on Deck online show almost 2 years ago. I started interviewing female DJs. I got connected with Zambia, Africa, which was really cool. I've interviewed like 8 DJs from there. They invited me to come speak over there. They want me to help them set up a female DJ school. And it's like, I really didn't know all these opportunities that were going to happen. Like I didn't even think I would write a book. I mean, maybe it was in the back of my mind, oh, one day that'd be cool. But like all these things started happening because I created the digital course on how to start a DJ business. And then I turned that into the book. And then I started interviewing the DJs and networking online. And then I got noticed by Mobile Beat. And it just goes on and on and on. You know, you just keep putting yourself out there. I'm super passionate about just helping others, sharing what my experiences are, because that's how I learn is from experiences and hearing other people's experiences. Like we can really learn from each other and knowing the importance of having like the support. The support is like amazing and being able to relate to other DJs. So I've built this community, the Female DJ Facebook group, the online show, which is now turned into a podcast, Royal Queens Rising, just launched it. It's a movement. It's a movement. And, you know, what took me so long back in the day thinking, you know, this was a dream from high school. And here we are 20 something years later and it's all happening and it's magical. And, you know, you might not even realize you want a DJ or that there's a DJ in you. I think there's always that one friend that always has all the requests or is controlling the music. And they might not have even thought I can do that too, because it had been male dominated for so long and it still is. The percentages I hear are 10 to 20% are female. So, you know, I'd love to see more women just going for it. Like just get past the fears and just do it. It's so much fun.
It is. It's a blast. I mean, I love the fact that female DJs are out there. I mean, I have several friends here, DJ Mina Mix. A few years back, I met DJ Jess, whom you've had on your show quite a few times. And she's awesome. I mean, she's got this style, this way of mixing. And she just has it out there. There's Annie Starr. I mean, just so many female DJs out there that are tremendously talented. And like you say, unfortunately, there's been that stigma that a DJ is a guy, and it has nothing to do with that. It just whoever can get on the decks and make people move and have a great time. That's all it takes. It doesn't matter male or female. You know what I mean? And it just,
Yeah.
to me, it's like, I love how you are taking the platforms and going for it. I just love that.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I had a funny experience. I was doing a country wedding, and this little boy, younger boy, he's like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "I'm the DJ." And he goes, "I thought only men did that." I was like, "Oh, I guess I better go DJ some more in that town, show them what's up."
That's exactly right. Exactly right. So you mentioned your book and you kind of briefly tapped into it. Tell us about it. What was the inspiration behind the writing and everything that you did? And just let loose. Tell us what it's all about.
Yeah, well, really, it's about my journey into motherhood and entrepreneurship and just my love for reggae and all like these reggae stories I have. Like the first time I went to Jamaica, I was 18 years old and I got robbed by knife point going to buy records
Oh
in
my
downtown
gosh.
Montego Bay. And oh, wow, that was scary. And, it has some of my reggae stories and it just has, my journey. And then it has just the introductory steps of like how to actually start a business, how to go from a hobby to business. We talk about the importance of contracts and the importance of, branding and, basic equipment and networking. And, it was something that I just kind of happened, honestly. I created the digital course, and then my business coach was like, after 3 hours of recording that digital course, that day, my coach was like, "Hey, there's your book, Michelle." And I'm like, "Oh my gosh, oh yeah,
That's
go write
awesome.
some more." And I wrote it in like under 8 weeks, and I wrote it through the holidays, and
Wow.
nobody was working but me. Like I was reaching out to my community, like, help, I need help formatting this. And I self-published on Amazon. I reached out to someone on Fiverr.com. They helped me edit it on Christmas. I got it
Wow.
out. I became a top seller. And it was, it's a lot about the journey for me, just like becoming an author. Like it took me a long time to be able to like be like, I'm an author. I'm a best-selling author. I wrote a book. Like, really? And I'd like to write more because it was actually such a fun process. And being able to just share that with everybody that, I've had really good feedback, put it in the public libraries. My friends like, this would be really good for high schoolers or like,
Yeah.
like just the bank teller. He's like, you really inspired me to like keep going. Like, like my son was selling them at the festivals. Actually, this week, he's 7. He's like, "Mom, I
Oh
want to
my
go
God.
sell your books at the KOA campground down the road." I'm like, nobody's going to buy them down there. But I have given them to the employees because they get a lot of people from Jamaica come seasonally work over here. And
Uh,
I'm like, here, read my book. But
that is
yeah,
so cool.
it's just like, getting my story out there. Our stories are so powerful to be able to share them with the world.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm losing you here.
Uh-oh.
We're back.
Okay.
Okay.
Sorry. My internet. You'll be able to edit that.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. Most of the time, I
Okay.
just let it roll. We keep it natural.
I've built a team of editors.
Exactly.
So.
So, where can people that are viewing this get your book?
So if you want to buy it and support that way, you can go on Amazon, search How to Start a DJ Business by Michelle Miller. Or if you want the free digital copy plus my free digital course, you just go to my website, djrundat.com. There's a pop-up, fill out your name, email, and I send it to you.
So, before we got started here, we were talking about your DJ name, and I said, I'm probably going to have to ask that. How did you come up with DJ Rundat?
So listening to so much reggae, you just hear them say, run that, run that, run that all the time. It's just slang, run things, run that. And I gave myself the name and it just stuck. And I would meet reggae artists and get their autographs when I was younger, and they would be like, "What's your name?" And I'd say, "Rundat." And there was a movie, Third World Cop, and on the soundtrack, it had a song that said, "We run things, things not run we. Everything we do, we have to do properly." And I was like, we just had this, me and my girls, when we were out reggae clubbing all the time, we were sassy. We were like, we run things. And we like would promote and pass out flyers because we wanted a role. We wanted to help out. So I gave myself it. It means, run things.
That's
Yeah.
cool.
Now there's a lot of songs with it. My husband and I were going through Apple Music the other day, and he searched Rundat on his phone, and he was playing me all these Rundat songs and different rappers. And there's Joyner Lucas has one, and Hood Celebrity has one, and so.
That is cool. That is cool. So you are an extremely busy woman. You got so many projects going on, and yet I believe you're a mother of 3?
2.
2. And how old are they?
So they're going to be 8 and 14.
8 and 14. Okay, so we're about the same. Mine's is 11 and 8. And, for me, because I work here from home, it's kind of difficult. But you have definitely many more projects than what I do at this time. How do you handle that? So let's give an example for those DJs that are struggling, with family life, kids, wife, household, and running a business. How do you deal with it?
So it's hard. I ain't gonna lie. Energetically, it's hard. It's hard to do it all. No lie. But the best way I would say is chunking my time and knowing that, like, in the mornings after I have my tea, my caffeine, like, that's go time. Focus, go, do it. And I've built a team. I've built a virtual team that has helped me with the launching of the podcast. And when COVID hit, that's when I got serious about building this virtual team to help me. I'm a delegator. I'm a boss mama. So that's one way. Also, it's fun for me. It's really fun. It lights me up. So, knowing what my priorities are and my goals, and staying connected to the big vision, the big picture of, making a global impact and building an internationally known brand, and just really inspiring others to just go for it. Men, women, everybody, children, like, just go for it. What lights you up? Like, my business coach, every time I talked about DJing before I kind of went full on DJing, she's like, every time you talk about it, you get so lit up. You could see it, It's like, okay. And then, that she would be like, what brings you joy? What do you want? And I'm like, wow, playing music for people is pretty freaking joyful.
Yeah.
Like, I love this.
Yeah, it's a blast. I mean, like I say, for me, I work for radio stations out in Las Vegas. I'm here in Los Angeles, so everything I do remotely. Obviously because of COVID, my event planning business and DJ business came to a screeching halt. Everything is either postponed or canceled. What is it that you're doing, aside from the virtual stuff, to keep yourself busy and keep your business going during this pandemic?
Yeah, so I've done virtual parties and was promoting that. And I've actually started to offer officiating for my brides. So I have my first micro wedding August 1st, and I will be playing the music. I will be officiating for the first time.
Cool.
A little nervous,
Congrats.
ain't gonna lie. Thank you. I've invested in new equipment that is battery rechargeable, because this particular ceremony is off grid, overlooking the ocean.
Nice.
And so I've taken the time to focus on some of my passion projects also with the podcast. I launched
Losing you again. Slow signal.
Group coaching
Lost you.
program,
Coming back, maybe?
business mentorship, motivational. Oh no. Uh-oh.
Hold on.
Are we still recording? Maybe it's still recording.
Yeah, we're still recording,
Okay, shoot.
but I lost image.
Uh-oh.
There you are.
I'm so sorry.
It's all right.
I meant to be in town. I just all of a sudden ended up with these extra kids. It's like my son's like calling them. Okay, so Okay.
So let's go back to the question, which was, what are you doing during COVID? What's going on?
Yeah. So during COVID, I've gotten my shift together. I call it get your shift together. So what I'm doing is I've launched my online mentorship coaching program, Business Mastermind. I started with the Mommy DJ Mastermind, was the first group program we did, and I'm
Nice.
launching my second one this month. I have agreed to start online radio for the first time. So the
Nice.
station's called Power 246. I'm releasing my first mix this week,
Very cool.
and I launched the podcast. So I'm really just working on branding and the creating this global DJ female sisterhood, um, and really building my team, stepping into my leadership. And I've been doing virtual parties, some, but the internet's a little wonky where I live, and it's just the way it is. And I'm also starting to officiate weddings. So I'm going to be doing my first tiny wedding where I'll be playing the music and officiating off grid, by the ocean. So wish me luck.
I'm sure you're going to do great.
Thanks.
Very cool. So you were part of a 4-day festival where you ended up spinning for 35 hours. How was that?
That was wild. And I'll be honest, like day two, I called in a friend to DJ for like an hour and a half while I went to the chiropractor because it's a lot. It's a marathon, but it
Yeah.
was fun. I like to really challenge myself.
Well, that's good. Well, look, Michelle, I want to thank you for taking the time to sit and talk with me. I just got started with this video podcast, and it's been going good. We just spoke with Joe Bunn. We got Rob Ferre lined up, and I'm hoping to get more of my female DJ friends on board as well. So we're going to be posting all your links here on YouTube so that everybody could, catch up with you and say hello and learn a little bit more from you, because you seriously are amazing at everything that you do, and I'm honored to be able to have you here on DJ to DJ. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Appreciate
Thanks for tuning in.
All right, you guys, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button, click that bell, and make sure you get that book, the bestseller, How to Start a DJ Business by Michelle Miller, DJ Rundat. She's awesome, guys. Check the book out. It's definitely going to be worth your while. Links will be set up down below. We'll see you again really soon. Thanks again, Michelle. Have a great one.
Thank you. You too.